I think it's also perfect the way it came through. And no notes, you know, past everything else that I've said. With that, I'll definitely Merry meet and welcome. I'm Taylor, and today we're going to be taking on the opposite of mint, Blackberry Mint Jam. So I'm really excited about this because at the time of this recording, I actually got to pick my blackberries fresh and was able to get the perfect amount, so very appreciative of this. We're going to be using this on our scones, but I'm very excited to just put this on toast as well. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Merry meet again. So we have most of our ingredients right here. I'm sure you'll notice that we have one key thing missing, which is our blackberries. And I wanted to start at this view first because our blackberries are already in our pot. This is all the ingredients just get mixed into one pot and then gets heated up on medium to low heat over 30 minutes. And then so that's what we'll be doing, is just combining these, but I wanted to show you that I already have the blackberries in the pot. With that, let's go ahead and get started with just talking over the rest of the ingredients. Merry meet again. So I know it's just a quick little thing, but we have these set up in maybe a different scenario than we normally do, just so that you guys can kind of see the ingredients. So hopefully this doesn't just look all crazy. That's my main goal. And then once we get a little bit closer, we'll kind of move some things, because essentially I just wanted to go ahead. We have our 5 cups of blackberries already in here, and then this is about, so this is the dried mint, and I did use 3 tablespoons of dried mint. The way that I have the dried mint is that it's more in leaf form, and then I used my oh my gosh, mortar and pestle, there we go, to grind this into more of a powder versus having those like dry leaves. So it was kind of hard to find in the store. It's if you have it, it's probably going to be in your seasonings aisle. If you don't have it, you always can get fresh mint and then just dry out the mint yourself, just depending on what you have available to you. It's actually one of the easier herbs to dry out, but yeah, and you can do it in like just using like towels in a basket or something. It's just you just need a weight, or like wire racks. You just need something with airflow. But anyway, so went down to about 1.5 tablespoons. I'm gonna keep it at this rather than like adding more and making sure I have 3 tablespoons of this powderized version, just to play it safe, because it already smells super minty, and with grinding it, it already like releases a lot of its flavor, and kind of the same thing with sage. If you've ever had a fresh sage plant, or really most plants, include most herbs, you crush the leaf to release the scent and whatnot, and to help like express its flavor some more. So we're just going to kind of lean into that and just be better safe than sorry, because this is a little experimental. I think it'll be good, but we'll have fun. Long explanation, but just going to put that over this. So you might notice that we don't have very much liquid that we're going to be using. And it's because the blackberries are going to cook down, and that's where most of the liquid's going to come from, especially with adding the sugar on top, because sugar is notoriously considered a liquid because of its high melting point. So this is about 2.5 cups. Oh, it was about 2.5 cups. You probably couldn't see that on the camera, but just a little bit of it fell out. And then of course we have this super just a lemon bowl. Obviously we're not putting it in like that, but we need this the zest and the juice from the lemon. So we're just going to use this, and we're just going to do it over the pot. With that, let me go ahead and change this position a little bit so that you're closer. Okay, so you may have noticed too, I'm not using the optional bourbon because I don't drink. So although to be said, when you add heat, I know when you bake alcohol, like it bakes out all the alcohol, and like when you do like a flambe and they like use alcohol, it burns away with all of the fire. So I don't know if it would have mattered or not, and if it would have just been a flavor thing. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that that is not going to be part of our flavor profile today. And then you may have also noticed that we didn't have the heat on, so we're going to turn that on now, and I'm going to check in with you guys when we are closer to it being done, and how to check when your jam is done. And like I said, this is going to be heated on medium to low heat for about 30 minutes, stirring occasionally, and I'll see you guys soon. Hello. So here is our jam. It's obviously still cooking. It's been on here for like 35 minutes actually. And so normally I was gonna show you Sorry. You know me, trying to adjust with using just one hand. But a lot of times to tell if your jam is good and ready to set is you use the spoon test. And so you see I just like swiped a line, but it's not covering to fill that. The only thing that makes me nervous is this in itself is still so runny, and her thing says to allow it to thicken, not that it'll thicken up in the jar. So I'm a little nervous. I could use chia seeds to help thicken it up. I'm thinking, my intuition is telling me to go ahead and pour it into the jar and allow it to cool, and that'll help it thicken up, because I feel like I've lost too much of it too. I feel like it's reduced down too much now, and I don't want to lose any more. And then worst case scenario, if it still doesn't thicken up, I can put the chia seeds in the jar itself and mix it, because I'm using this bigger jar, so it definitely should be more than enough room. But with that, this is hot, a little bit messy, so I'm not going to record me pouring it. I'll see you guys when we let it set and see if it thickens up and what our results are. Talk to you soon. Merry meet again. So we do have our, it's not quite cool to room temperature. I do believe it's going to thicken up a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to go ahead and do this. I'll continue cooling it, and I went ahead and added 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, because I don't know if you can tell, but it did thicken up some, right? But it isn't fully thickened. So I went ahead and added 2 more tablespoons. I think it'll continue to thicken as it actually cools to room temperature, because it's actually warm. It's not, obviously I can touch it, you just saw that, but also it's stirring in the chia seeds. It kind of did release some of the heat, so it's significantly less warm now, but not significantly, that was a poor choice of words, just a fraction. Anyways, but yeah, so I already have too much chia seeds, so I think it'll be fine. I also think that where I messed up was in her other recipes, or in one of her other recipes, she says small lemons. In this one, she just said lemon. And so I wonder if, because the lemon I used was technically a smaller one, so I wonder if I should have used like 2 small ones or try to find like a bigger one. Because I think that is why, especially when you're making jam, you have to be mindful of like the balance that you're trying to achieve, because it won't thicken up if you don't have enough pectin, if you don't add enough heat, if there's not enough sugar. So it's like all those different elements. So I think they're just, and the pectin in this, and blackberries aren't necessarily like the thing that has the most pectin, but if you also don't have enough acid, that's where the lemon juice comes in. And I think that's where we got in trouble here, because everything else we had exact measurements for. Maybe I had a little bit, like a couple extra blackberries, but it was for the most part like right on the dot, five cups. So anyways, I'm not too mad, honestly. I think these are still going to be great for anything and everything. And also, like, I don't know, like if it's runny, I just know like I don't want to put it on a piece of bread that's like completely flat. I want it to have some edges on it, or maybe I just want to be careful. And then if I use this to like make frostings or anything else that I decide to put it in, I just want to be mindful that it's more liquidy than your standard jam. But it tastes so good. It's so well balanced between the blackberry, mint, and lemon. I definitely could have done more mint. As I mentioned before, I was a little bit fearful. But I think it's also perfect the way it came through. And no notes, past everything else that I've said. With that, I'll definitely see you guys in the next one. Bye.